let's go ahead and get into what we're here today for, which is
the hot girl at the party.
The hot girl. She's over standing up against the wall over there. And
Jay, since we released that Bronco podcast, now that was something new that we tried. We literally just recorded us reacting to Ford's reveal of the new Bronco about a week ago, give or take.
Yep.
And we thought, well, look, we're excited to do this. Why don't we just hit the record button, see what happens? Jay, it has been, and you know this, our highest listened to, I don't know about viewed, but for sure listened to release, I think, ever. And it was a completely different style for us. It wasn't rehearsed. There was no, it was all reaction. But more than anything...
Coincidentally.
Or is it?
Our first podcast on this, which was episode 38, I believe, or 33, one of the two. Yeah. It was the 5 things that Ford needs to get right.
Yep.
Our views on that particular podcast was through the roof. So
yeah.
Now that goes way back to last year. That's how excited and people are. They're paying attention to Ford. Ford is.
I really don't think it's us. I think it's the topic. I think it's the subject matter. And
it is.
This is the thing. Is now none of us expected this. So we kind of saw what a big deal the Bronco was, and I just realized something. I'm going to step off camera for just a minute here in a second. So be ready to pull the wagon, right? Because I got something I want to bring. I intentionally brought it with me for show and tell.
Okay. Sure.
But Ford's not done. We literally said on that podcast, we went, no, is this it? I think you said, is this their swan song? Are they done for a while? Right back this week, they're in the news again.
And they are doing their very best to give their Ford fans everything they've asked for.
They're dominating the news line in the auto industry, and there has been some good improvements from the GM side over the past year and a half. We're not even talking about them right now because Ford has just taken over. So here it is, man. It is that new girl that moved into the school, and all the boys are like, "Hey, man, did you see?
Hey, man, did you see that? Did you see that girl?
Did you see Chandra? She's see that new girl? She have a boyfriend yet? I'm kind of thinking maybe,
Yeah,
Kind of thinking. Actually, hang on. I blew an opportunity here. I should have done. Hey Jay, see that new girl? Or actually, hold on. This would be more appropriate right here, wouldn't it? Hey man, I bet I can get her phone number. All right. So anyway,
wait a minute. But wait a minute. Did you see what she drove up in? She drove up in a new Bronco, man. Yeah. And so a couple things have happened this week that put them right back. Do you want to grab one? I can throw something out there. I'm going to go, and I said this all along. I felt like that with the relationship that Ford has with Rivian right now, it's a no-brainer to utilize that technology and run with it. So you've got the Mustang Mach-E that has come out, and we said back in our earlier podcast some things that Ford could do to kind of help this thing along and to achieve the goal of making everybody happy, and I think they're going to do that. And it was just announced last week. It was leaked that it's the new Ford Bronco Hybrid was revealed by leaked Sync software. And if you guys are not familiar with Sync, that's a Ford software developed for their...
Originally started that with Microsoft, and it was a smart device pairing utility. So,
well, and this is... we'll go ahead and give our friends over at Jalopnik a little love here. They were the ones that broke the story, and in their article... basically, Ford was surprisingly cagey about the potential for an electrified version of its all-new 2021 Ford Bronco, but now, just a few days after its big reveal, a leak seems to hint that the hybrid Bronco is on the way.
Now, they found that info in some code. Got guys crawling through source code, And this is where Ford is kind of a newcomer to the game that Apple and Microsoft have been playing for a long time, which is you got to be careful. They use code words and project terms and secret terms in some of this code to reference it in the code instead of calling it like Bronco Hybrid, right? Because that would be obvious and somebody would see it. Well, Ford's new to this game and they don't maybe necessarily know to do that. And so they got caught. There's references to that code, right?
Right.
And so now everybody's talking about, and you know, it makes me wonder, Jay, this is the theme. Was it an accident? Or was it?
I am beginning to think, again, you've heard me say this in several podcasts before about Ford, that they are absolute, whoever their marketing team is, whoever's the head of marketing for Ford right now, they're absolute genius. Because you can call it a leak. You can call it, let's call it a leak. Let's just call it a leak. It is what it is. But it's great marketing, man.
I mean, this is a conspiracy theory episode, man. There are so many things going on right now that it just make it hard for me to believe that these are accidental mentions and releases by Ford. I got something to show you, Jay. I'm gonna show you a picture. Okay. Let me give you a date. I'm gonna do a Karnak. I'm gonna give you a date first. Okay.
All right.
Now you've seen this picture before. This is something that we had a podcast on in February. Okay.
Okay.
The date this picture was published was February 2020. So roughly 5 months ago. Okay. The Bronco was not yet revealed. We were 4.5, 5 months away from the reveal of the Bronco. Okay.
Right.
And on the surface, I got to give props to Car and Driver. Now I've got my hand over the address because this is my son's magazine, and I don't want people contacting my kid. But look at this. Okay. Can you see that?
Yep.
See that picture? That's the cover of Car and Driver from February 2020. Look how close they got. You see that?
That's a rendering, and that was just speculation based on information that had been leaked, and they were kind of putting the pieces of the puzzle together, and they got real close. Now, the other thing, too, is remember the Brazilian version of this thing that we said that it was on the same platform as the Sport.
But it's hairless, right?
Yeah, it's hairless, But
sorry, man, had to.
But you know, there were little things, little signs, and when we started investigating all these pieces of information, doing our research on it, and then looking into some of the patents that were out there that were surfacing, and everything pointed to Ford was going to get this thing right. We're going to get this thing right. It's going to be awesome. And still, here we are today. After the reveal, we're still talking about it.
A week later.
People are putting the money down to order these things.
Ford has just announced.
Well, it crashed, and there's been a lot of question. Well, if I reserve now, what happens if I change my mind in the future and I want to, the configurator, change what I want? Well, Ford has just announced that you will be able to change the configuration when you get down to the point to where you're physically going to order it.
That is very smart on their part. Look at that. And look how wrong they got that.
Yeah.
You know what is wrong on that? I'll tell you what's wrong on it.
The mirror's not where it needs to be.
Those tires are the BFG that I have on my Toyota FJ. Those are awesome tires. Those are the all-terrain.
Yes, they are.
That's not what ended up on the Bronco. You know what ended up on the Bronco? Of course you do.
Yeah. They put the Goodyear Wranglers, and that's going to lead us into how important and how much clout Ford has with the automotive industry. So
why?
They put the Goodyear Wrangler, bold letters on the outside of that thing. The
Raised
Wrangler,
white letters,
Jeep,
RWL.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. There you go. So Goodyear Wrangler tires on the 2021 Ford Bronco will not say Wrangler on the outside.
They had them remove the raised lettering from the outside of the tire. Now, on the insides, it still says Wrangler.
It'll be on the inside. Yeah.
But it's not going to be raised.
Not going to be raised white letters, though.
And you know what? On these trucks, the trend right now is moving towards no raised boy, I can't do this. Raised white letters.
Absolutely.
It's going to look better without them. Yeah.
Back in the day, we all liked our white letter tires.
Now think about this for a second. Ford's going to Goodyear and saying, hey, Goodyear, we think we're going to sell enough of these that we want you to create a new line of tires that does not have. So they're going to have to retool a factory to do this, right?
Yeah, they have to. Yeah, they have to, and I will guarantee you
it ain't some guy out there with a Sharpie covering it up, right?
Right, and I've been involved exactly. I've been involved in manufacturing, and if Ford wants this done, I will guarantee you that they have paid up front the tooling cost to have this done, and say, hey, these are ours. This is what we want you to put on our Bronco.
Do not put the word Wrangler on this at all. Yep,
exactly. And everybody, let's face it, there's a reason why they don't want to be associated with the Jeep name, and because they don't want the Jeep crowd saying, ah, ha, ha, you got Wranglers on there, and so that's not going to happen. Ford's like, see you guys.
I get this one. I get this one from time to time with my FJ, and that is people come up to me and they go, hey, man, I really like your Jeep. And it's like, what? I know they're just trying to be polite and they don't understand the difference, but they don't. Yeah.
Have you seen the meme that's going around on social media right now? And you've got
with Jeep gets together Toyota, with the FJ and
all this stuff, and then down at the bottom there's always that one, and Chevrolet and the Blazer just didn't quite work out for them. Hey, Chevrolet. Chevrolet. Hey, Chevrolet. Hey, GM. Hey. Oh, that's right. They can't hear us. They're not paying attention. So anyway, everybody around them is...
file that one under O for oops, right?
Yeah. I mean, somebody really... Who goofed on that one, man? Who dropped the ball on that?
And I saw yesterday a Colorado with a really nice Z71 package on it. It had the big tires and, it was gnarly looking. If they would have
that's kind of a mid-size. That's a mid-size pickup, which I really like. It's a good-looking truck.
If they would have put that styling on the Blazer, it would have been at least more appealing to this crowd.
You want to know what I think is going to happen with all this?
Of course I do.
And I want us to be held to this because I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to make a prediction here. GM is watching. They're paying attention, and they're all looking around in that boardroom, looking at each other, going, why in the world did we not do what Ford has done and what Jeep has done and what Toyota has done? Why did we not do these things? And I bet you they're going to come back with a campaign. They'll leave the Blazer as it is. It'll be just an SUV.
Yep.
But they're going to come back with a full size, and they're going to call it the K5. They'll bring back, they'll go into the K5 line, and there you go.
That's an interesting point. So I was talking to my son over a drive. We talk cars when we're driving. Like, when I'm driving and we just talk cars. It's kind of great.
He's kind of like your own built-in little podcast, isn't he?
Man, he's got stuff like in that head that he's rattling off specs, and I'm going, I didn't know that. Of course, I have to act like I did because can't let him can't let him be ahead of the old man.
Yeah. But can't let him win everything. Yeah.
This is a positioning thing. So if you think about, he's into right now. Nissan just released an electric. What's it? The Aria? Right? He's all over it.
Yeah, yeah.
Aris, whatever it is, right? I'm sorry, you guys. I haven't researched it.
I think it's Aria. Yeah, and as a matter of fact, I want us to podcast about it. Yeah, I want to podcast. And so
about it's a crossover. It looks like a hatchback. Okay,
it's a nice looking ride.
I said to him, so you have to understand that GM was, with this Blazer, they were looking at the sales numbers of the crossover vehicles. And they didn't have really anything in that category in that vehicle size. And so their decision-making process around the Blazer probably had something to do with that. That they said, we could fill that niche and we could use a recognizable brand name. And there's a lot of people buying crossovers. I just happen to think, as an off-road enthusiast, that they used the wrong product to fill that need.
Oh, I agree with you 100%. I think you're absolutely correct. And they missed an opportunity, and everybody else around them saw the opportunity. And I think even more now with COVID, there was an article written recently that you and I both read about the RV side of the industry with COVID. People are going to be taking camping trips and off-roading in record numbers due to this.
I'm telling you right now, like, we've gone out the past 2 weekends, You can't find sites. And this is a whole other rant, but the sheer stupidity around sort of people's behavior in this. Now, one of the nice things about an RV is you have your home with you. Like if you stock up with groceries, and you can still get grocery door delivery to an RV place.
Yeah.
You can enjoy the scenery, but you don't have to go to the stores. Like, you can still separate and social distance. But then you just get sheer jackassery like I saw over the... Okay, you know what? We're going to save this for another podcast because it's too much for one episode. But
you know, it's
people are out in crazy numbers right now in RVs.
Yes, they are out in crazy numbers, and you know, I think Ford pushed along with it, and they saw it too. There's like, let's get this thing out, you know, because I think the future is going to be very bright for a vehicle like this for people to get out. And this, let's face it, everybody watches the news, they hear the same stuff we do, that this stuff is going to be around a while. We're fortunate
people in Nashville,
there's some promising...
we've seen data that they're getting it twice, and there are some prominent figures, blue check marks on Twitter, so to speak, that are getting it twice.
Yeah.
It is most likely going to be around for a while. Absolutely.
Yeah. And the only way to deal with it is a vaccine. And, there's some promising information out there right now about a vaccine coming along very well. They are showing it to work very well with some of these patients, and they're going to really rush it to get it out to the public.
Watch.
But it's going to be next year still. It's going to be next year.
Have you
I did watch that. I watched it. Yes.
Okay. Coronavirus Explained on Netflix. It's 3 episodes. I believe it's the 3rd episode that deals with the vaccines, right?
You have to watch this, folks. Yeah, that's a recommend. Can we put a link to that up on our...
Sure,
is that
of course we can.
Do?
And
let's put a link to that.
I've redone the mention on the podcast page, so it's a little bit easier to navigate for both us and our fans. Right. So yeah, you can find it. But it is fascinating because they explain the different types of vaccines, like the different pathways to creating a vaccine, and there's a lot of different ways to accomplish it. And kind of how they're trying to do this, and it is, and what just drew me into the show initially was the first episode was planned a year ago. So think about that, everybody. A year ago, before the outbreaks, months and months before the outbreak.
Yeah, real world
or
stuff. Or
was it?
Yeah. Hey. I want to step back a little bit off of topic real quick and give a thank you to a particular listener. We did a live podcast, Stumping the Bartender, with our great friend Rothmeyer, and we had an individual, lucky individual who won. It
was Pat.
It was Patrick. Yep, good friend. He's actually in town visiting. And he has decided to stay. He's getting he's renting a condo and gonna hang around. So we'll get to know Patrick a little bit better. And he's a big fan of the show.
Get a picture with him and let's post it on the website.
We will definitely do that. So he loved his little Moscow Mule cup that that he won that came from the Union Tavern. So we were glad. So there are winners out there, people. I'd also like to mention my good friend Pete down in Mississippi. Who I sent some Union Tavern glasses as well as some of these Parts Counter Gurus coasters.
Those are hard to get. Take my word for it. Those are very, very hard to come by.
Yeah, they are. So
I've got one I've been using for a year and a half. One.
Right on. I want to bring up something here, and we're not doing it yet, but I do want some audience participation on this. And all you have to do is go leave a comment on our website at partscounterguru.com.
Hit the Ask Us a Question page.
Yep.
There's a tab at the top.
Hit that there and then just tell us your thoughts on it. But, we have some really cool merchandise, some hats that are really cool. We have some baseball-style hats, and we have these trucker-style hats. If you'd like to purchase one, we're kind of feeling around with a little bit. We want to run some T-shirts and maybe some hoodies as well to put out there for you guys to purchase. We got some really neat potential for some merchandise out there if you're interested. We just want your comments on it. If you think that's something you'd like,
just ask us a question. Say, hey, yeah, guys, put it on there. Yeah, just
I mean,
put it on there and tell me how can I do this.
You're going to be going to our website anyway to click on the Amazon link before you do your Amazon shopping. So why not, while you're there, just go ahead and
that's it.
Ask us
that's
a question.
It, man.
Hey, Jay, see what I did there?
Hey, I did see what you did there, and I'm also going to segue into that. Folks, if you're enjoying this show today, you can get to our podcast links on our website at partscounterguru.com and /podcast links, or just hit the podcast link tab. You'll get us on Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, Apple, Google. You know, we're all over the place. You can also check us out over on YouTube at youtube.com/partscountergurus for some of the video segments of our podcast, as well as some product reviews that we do and some neat live streams that we do.